place for me. Yes, I was in a toxic relationship. Guess what? Not anymore. I have grown from the broken pieces. I have learned to love me when no one else loved me. I have learned that I will never settle for in my life or my peaceful atmosphere. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning into The Power in Your Voice. I am your host, Sheena Grant, and I'd like to thank my special guest, Miss Yolanda Bradley, better known aka Miss Lane Bird. How we doing, Author Bird?
Oh, I am wonderful. And I want to thank you for having me on the show. It is a pleasure to see the Queen again.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, can you tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, well, I am Yolanda Bird Bradley, known as Lane Bird, the author. I've written two books for children, for girls. Uh, One is Unique, which is the first book, and it was done for girls anywhere from, I say, in your stomach, because you can read to them, until elementary. So, if you don't mind, that is the book Unique, and Unique was based on, you know, sometimes life just is difficult, you know, and you have this idea what your life's supposed to be like. But sometimes in that period, you meet people, you have relationships that don't do what they supposed to do, and you question yourself. You say, what's my purpose? I believe in the Creator. I ask him, what's my purpose? Why am I here? So I was end up talking to and all of a sudden a young beautiful girl, 10 years old, had killed herself
Hmm.
because she was being bullied. And it reminds me of what you talk about in your book, because being bullied is the same as being abused.
Right.
But we have to learn how to not listen to negative things. And I think my book, it'll help young girls know you are unique because God made you that way. See, being unique, you one like you, no one like you. So that's unique. And if girls learn that at a young age, maybe we can stop some of this, what they're going through,
Right.
starting with bullying in school. Because they used to say, words don't hurt. That's
Right.
the biggest lie I know. Words do hurt. You perceive those words. See, no one can say, I'm ugly. I might be the ugliest person in the world, but to me, I'm beautiful. That's what I tell myself. So if a young girl can look in that mirror every day and say, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm awesome, it would help them believe that. So no matter what nobody say to them, they're not going to believe it. Because most bullies bully you because they want something you have.
That is so
They
absolutely
come
true.
and you don't. That's right. So they come and book you, and because you don't have that to conquer that. I've seen it. Teen girl. It's been for years. They let some girl understand that one and you want to do as you you push that. So that's and
I know it's gonna do that. Sorry, guys. Yeah, our guest had got kicked off. I guess her internet is flicking in and out. But her name is Yolanda Bradley, and her book is called Unique. And while we're waiting, I just want to know out there today, how are y'all helping your kids deal with, their self-esteem, their ability to understand their self and to give them affirmations? Like, how are you helping them in their process of them dealing with life? Because so many times life can be so hard, and we forget that they have their own problems too. We forget that they need that conversation, they need that inspiration, because they go through their things at school too. So for your kids out there, what are you doing to support them? What are you doing to empower them? What are you doing to give them that push, that motivation, so that they know who they are, they can understand their values, and learn from you? Because a lot of times, a lot of us that has daughters or even sons, they're watching us, they're paying attention to what we're doing, what we're saying, and how things are going. And at the same time, what are you doing? How are you empowering them? How are you showing them how to show up? So many times we forget that they're watching our every move, and you got to be prepared to show them how to be and tap into that power that they have, how to show up for themselves, how to be a better version of themselves. She's back. Hold on, guys. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I don't know
It
what
booted you.
happened.
It booted you off again. You was giving a powerful message and it was booting you off.
See, that's
Say again.
Hear me now, Queen.
I can hear you. It's going in and out, but I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So what I was saying is, I used to teach school. I used to teach high school, elementary, and junior high. I have one son, and he's 26. He's the love of my life. I not only am an author, but I am an entrepreneur. I have a little business that I'm doing where I make.
Today, they do not want her message to come through. I swear. Thank you, Erica, for your comment. It says consistency of words encouragement along with a bunch of scenarios we discussed as he was growing up into still to this day. That is so true. So many times we have to use those encouragement words, you know, because we have to remember that they are dealing with their own peer pressure, their own anxiety, their own depression, the bullying, all these things that are wrapped up into so many things. Some kids have seen the worst of their parents, and they could be arguing and all this toxicness going on in the home that they're in. And we have to remember, how can we support them? How can we, excuse me, get them to be a better version of themselves after going through trauma? Because they go through trauma too. Bullying can lead to their own trauma. Them having low self-esteem deals with their own, internal illness, where they might start feeling depressed. Like, we have to remember that they deal with these things, and we have to encourage our kids to be the best version of themselves. We have to encourage our kids to love on themselves. We got to encourage our kids to know that they are powerful, and that they are beautiful, and that they are amazing, and no one else can tell them any different. But if we are not pouring into them and giving them the knowledge and knowing how to function around the things that are happening, we're not doing our part. So many times we forget that, they have emotions that they deal with. They come with their own packages of things. So we can't filter and throw our problems on them. We as parents, we deal with a lot, but we have to remember we are the parents, and we shouldn't put our problems on them. We should be there to encourage them to be a better version of themselves. And I don't know why it keeps booting my guest off. Let's see. If she's back, it's coming. It really
Okay,
wanted to
I
keep booting
changed
you off
everything
today.
out. Look, I got rid of that. I want something else
All
here. So
right.
we gonna make this work, okay?
Well, I was
One
feeling it.
minute
It's
don't
okay.
stop the show, girl.
Right. Absolutely. Now, you was talking about how you was a teacher, and you had a son, and he's your world, and then they booted you off again. So carry on.
Okay, okay. So I also am an entrepreneur. I do candles, I do soaps, I do salt scrubs, and I also do home teas. But with my candles and my salts and my soaps, it's kind of I use essential oils.
Okay.
I believe in chakra as well.
Mhm.
So I believe in affirmations. So
Mhm.
my candles and my salt scrubs, they all have an affirmation to go
Mm.
with whatever's going on and whatever oils I use.
Nice.
So
Now, what made you decide to get? Because going from an author to the teacher, what made you decide to get into the essential oils and the affirmations? Like, how did that come about? Because I deal with the oils, the chakra, the affirmations. Like, that's all that peace and calming situation for me. That's when you go in the bathroom, you take a nice bath. You got the oils and the candles, and you soak it and you take that self-care time. So, what got you into to doing the affirmations and the candles and making that your business? Like, what made you get into that lane?
well, it's what you said. It is what you said. The world that we live in today is so stressful.
Right.
It's so busy. And we as women, we take on roles.
Right.
I'm talking about more roles than we even know we have. And you, after a day, and I mean just a regular day, and we're talking about people that have a job, that
Mhm.
have children, that have a significant other, you have to deal with the world outside of home. Then you
Right.
got to come home and deal with that world. So sometime after everybody's gone to bed, it's time for you to deal with you.
Right.
Because if you keep doing that, it's going to be a mental problem. And see, we ball stuff up as women. I mean, we won't even let anybody know what's going on with us. We'll pass by somebody. We might have had something going on so bad with us, but we'll pass by somebody and put a smile on our face like everything is, as they used to say, honky dory.
Right.
But inside we're dying, you know. And that's where that mask come in. But we have to have time for ourselves. And when you mix essential oils with salts and you sit and soak in that hot water, that is a mental, that's mental for your brain, because the
Mhm.
sense that's going through your nostrils is working on your whole body. And
Absolutely.
that's what made me get into the salts and my soaps. And then you light a candle. Oh, close that door. You can, the next day, it's a new day for you.
Listen, you
It's
done
a new day
created
for
a
you.
whole new vibe, a whole new energy. So absolutely. So tell me,
Yes.
Now, the first book was called Unique, and I know some people might have not heard what you was saying because your phone was flickering. So tell us about Unique. Like, how did you come up with the title Unique? Because unique is it's a unique word. So how did you decide to title the book Unique?
Well, Unique was born because what I wrote the book first before I came up with
Mhm.
the title.
Okay.
When I wrote the book, I was writing first to let start. The book started off with young girls of color, okay,
Hmm.
because I can't write about nothing but me,
Right. Right.
you know. But it's for every young girl. I don't care who they are.
Right.
So I started off with identifying your hair, your eyes, your lips, because we all are different.
Hmm.
Some of us might be the same complexion, but your lips might be thinner than my lips. That makes you unique and it makes me unique. Your eyes might be round, my eyes might be squint. My nose might be wide, but you are beautiful just like I'm beautiful, and we both are unique. But the main concept of the book is God made us, and He made us for a purpose, which makes us unique. Because each and every one of us have a purpose to be here. We just have to figure out what it is.
Right.
So after I identified all our different traits, so, I even put in there, my hips might be big. My hips might be small. But I'm special. I'm
Right.
unique because that's how God made me. And after I identified that, I said, I can be anything I want to be. I can be a senator, or I could be a shipyard worker. Because at one time we were titled to do certain things.
Right.
Women, you be a teacher or you be a nurse. No, that don't work. If I could drive a 18-wheeler just like that man can,
Right.
and I could probably do a better job. Okay, so I'm trying to let them, and if you don't mind, I'll show you some of the pictures. I had one of the best illustrators. She's a young girl from California. Her name is Micah and she was doing this part time. But you
Mm.
see how I say about your lips and your eyes. And then after I did that, that's when I say, I am. See, you start saying, I am. That's an affirmation we all need to use.
Right.
I am beautiful.
Right.
I am, skinny. I am round. So what? God made me that way. Because if we all were the same, it would be a boring world.
Right.
I don't want to look at nobody like me. I want to be the only one like me. So then I go into the things that they could do. I could be a movie star. I could be a senator. I can be a teacher or a nurse. I can be a friend. I am loyal and trustworthy. Then we get back to I am,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then it talks about I am beautiful. I am strong. I am loved. I am unique because that is who God created me to be. When you look at me, you see beauty of many shapes, sizes, and colors, like the rainbow, with no end to what I can accomplish and achieve. That's how it ends. And then it has the most beautiful pictures that I picked in the back. because everybody is different and everybody's unique and beautiful.
I
So
love
that is my unique. That's how unique was born. And then um, my publisher, Erica, she brought up the girl Uniqua. So the person who's telling the story is Uniqua.
So the book is
So
called Unique and the storyteller is called Uniqua. All right.
yes, yes, yes. So that is I have um some of my books are in the elementary schools in the library. Every year I go and read to the kindergartners, and before everything happened in the last 2 years, I had a lot of book fairs to attend, and you know, Corona came,
Yeah.
the pandemic, it kind of stopped it for a while, but it's still like we met virtual book fairs and
Mhm.
and just a lot of other entities out there for me to get that out there to the young
Absolutely.
girls.
And it's definitely needed because so many times they get the complex, that they need to look like these models out here, or they need to look, like these plastic dolls. And it is great for them to understand that they have this uniqueness and that they don't need to look like nobody but themselves. Like that book reminds me of when my daughter be like, "Oh, I wish my hair was long." I said, "How about you be appreciative that your hair is the length that it is? Love who you are and embrace who you are and don't wish to be anyone but you."
That's
So that
true
book,
because my major is speech communication and theater. And one thing I know about actors and entertainers, they're doing that for us.
right.
Because when they go home,
Mm-hmm.
when Weezy go home and Beyonce go home, they put on something comfortable.
Right. Right.
They take up all that makeup and they get comfortable and they be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to start teaching our young girls. That is not who they are. That's
Right.
what they are doing for us.
Mm-hmm.
When they go behind their closed doors, they're the same as we are. They take off that weed. They take out.
Them lashes, all that makeup come off and everything. So yeah, it's great
Yes.
that you have that book because it's teaching them that they can just be themselves and they don't have to inquire to be anything more than that.
Mm-mm. Because if you love yourself, you don't have to worry about other people loving you.
Right.
They gonna love you because you are genuine who you supposed to be. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, we just have to teach. But that was the first one,
And what's the
and then the second one, girl, is for teenagers,
okay.
literally for teenagers, and we've talked enough that I don't sugarcoat too
Right.
much, okay? And this is not the world we live in to sugarcoat anything.
Right.
So my next book is Transformation: The Young Girl's Guide to Womanhood.
Mhm. Which is needed.
Okay. And I mean, I go from letting them know about what's happening to their bodies,
Mhm.
the changes their bodies go through, to dating,
Mhm.
what to do, what not to do, to drugs, to uh, cleanliness,
Mhm.
and then in the book they have it's like a workbook. It's a
Okay.
workbook for them to work with. So when they get to a section like this, they can fill in. So it's a personal book, basically.
Yeah. For them.
So they can fill in different things that's going on with them depending on what we're talking about. So I'm basically like a chat to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just introducing them to certain from the beginning to the end
Right.
of what changes, because that could be shocking for some people.
Mm-hmm.
You go to bed one day and you flat chested, and then you wake up and you got buds, okay?
Right. And it's like, what happened? Correct.
And you might not have the person around to actually explain that to you. Are you too afraid to talk
Mm-hmm.
to someone?
Right.
So that's why I came up with this book. And then at the end of the book, I put in this, an absentee contract. That means you have to sign that with your parent or your guardian, as long as you're in their house.
Mm.
But the story behind this is like a butterfly,
Okay.
because transformation is what butterflies do.
Right.
So I start off and say, a small caterpillar was born. With some difficulty, she finally learned how to crawl. Every day she would crawl on the ground from one place to another. One day she was tired of crawling, so she decided to climb a tree. Then the caterpillar chose to climb a tree with a large trunk and dewy leaves. It was the same tree she had played under for years. The caterpillar climbed and climbed, and she couldn't continue. She was continuing, but she was slipping and falling. She could not move forward, but did not up. And step by step, little by little, she managed to climb up the tree successfully. She climbed her way to the branches so high she could see the whole valley. The view was wonderful from the branches. The caterpillar was able to breathe in peace. Then the caterpillar turned into a cocoon. After a long period of time, the caterpillar bursted through the cocoon. She was now a beautiful blue butterfly, but she thought she was still a caterpillar. Something was weighing her down. She couldn't move as she did before. So see, that's where it starts off. See, we
Mm-hmm.
start off and we're at this adolescent age. And then we wake up one day and something has changed. Something's
Right.
heavy. A gust of wind pushed her backwards, and she decided to return to the branch where the transformation happened.
Mm.
But this time, the climb was harder. Moving forward seemed impossible. Since she thought she was a caterpillar, a butterfly stood and looked at her from another branch. Then the blue butterfly started to cry because she couldn't understand what was going on. A beautiful and wise yellow butterfly heard her crying, and she approached her. And the yellow butterfly perched on the flower, and for a while she looked at the blue butterfly without saying anything. When the blue butterfly's crying subsided, the yellow butterfly said, "What happened? I can't climb up that branch. Before, even though it was hard, I could do it." The yellow butterfly started to fly. The blue butterfly watched. Amazed at the yellow butterfly's movement, she then reflected on the yellow butterfly's movement. She began to understand that she was no longer a caterpillar. She was now a beautiful butterfly with wings. She realized that perhaps her heavy wings could be useful. The blue butterfly opened her wings and closed her eyes. She then felt the wind caressing them and now knows that these wings were now part of her. Finally, she accepted that she was no longer a caterpillar. Therefore, she could not continue to live as such, crawling on the ground. It's the same.
Yes, it
Once
definitely
we
is.
do that transformation, we got to let that go.
Right.
We got to move forward. It's time to grow. It's time to move. It's time to learn, become wise. And that's what this book is about. So it asks for different questions, and I also give suggestions on different things to use, like personal hygienes,
Yeah.
what's good for pimples, but so, and then I also talk about bras, and I always stress, ask your mother are a responsible
Well,
adult.
adult.
Okay. And you're going to love this part. I even put in here about, because I want everybody to be aware, because a lot of times, I had a parents or grandparents who talked to me,
Right.
but then we don't have that today.
Right.
So I even put in here domestic abuse.
Mm.
See, a domestic abuse don't have to be on the outside.
Right.
Okay. So
Right.
I let them know that, relationship abuse, that's one part, uh, type of abuse,
Right.
family member abuse, okay, and how to
Mhm.
get help.
Right. And that's
Because
definitely needed.
this is we've been going through for years and
Right.
been hiding it,
Mm-hmm.
getting raped and abused by our brothers and our cousins and our uncles.
Right.
And then
And
the family want to say, shh, shh.
right. Sweep it under the rug.
No,
We
no,
don't
no,
talk
no.
about what happened. Right.
Right. So that is, and then I go into cleanliness because I always believe, like I tell them, if you're cramping and you're hurting, you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to come to home to a nasty, dirty room.
Right.
You're already feeling bad,
Right.
and I tell them in there how to clean the toilet.
Yep. And that's good
you
though,
know,
because some of them might not have never been taught any of these things or have anybody to teach them that. So it's greatly needed in a way to educate them, without them feeling, oh God, how am I gonna ask somebody about this? So for them to have that book, that's a great necessity. It's a great necessity,
thank
definitely.
you, thank
Definitely.
you.
So what is in the future now that we have the children's book, we have the teen book? What book is next?
Well, I'm gonna have to write a boys book, okay? Because I have
What?
a great nephew, and my great nephew told me, he said, he's 10. He said, Auntie, I like, your books, but you gonna write one for boys? So that's gonna be next, okay? I'm gonna have to write one for boys. But I
Right.
do have some out there, Queen. I have one, a Christmas story that I'm gonna try to publish uh probably next Christmas because it's kind of
Okay.
close now. But I have a
Right.
story already written up. I'm working on my I say it's like a semi autobiography. It's
Okay.
basically my life story with some names changed.
Okay.
Um, I'm working on that, and I called it Foundation
Mm.
because
Nice
I
name.
had to have a foundation.
Right.
That grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
didn't play with you. You know, that grandmother that prayed for you, but she also went and got that switch.
Right. Or made you go get the switch off the tree.
Thank you.
Mm.
So that was the foundation, and that's where it all started. So I'm working on that as well, and uh, this is one of my soaps here,
Okay. Ooh.
my homemade soaps, and then also on my candles.
Now, how can they connect to get to your candles and your soaps and stuff? And what is the name? What did you title your business that you have with your candles and your soaps?
Well, Lane,
Okay.
the background Lane is, I guess everybody will know now. Lane is actually my name. My mother, that's my home, that family name. So my mother and everybody calls me Lane. My maiden name is Bird. So basically that's my name is what my name is. So everything I do is Lane. So this is my candles and my soaps are Lane's B&B scents and more.
Okay.
Okay. And then my book is Lane
Mhm.
Bird. And then I make homemade teas, which are different. Um, see, my brain went blank. Different flavors.
Okay.
And
Now
my
do the
nephew
teas
he named
now
my teas.
okay. Now do the
So he
teas have
calls
like
it
sorry, go ahead. Your nephew
uh
named the teas.
he named my teas Ain't Tea Lane's Southern Sweet Tea. And it's so funny when he said it. You know, he was joking. He said,
Oh,
and when they live out of town, so when they come
right.
home, the first thing they do, I don't even think they want to give me a hug. You got your tea? I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't seen you. So I said, well, what would you call my tea if I was selling? And he said, Ain't Tea Lane Southern Sweet Tea. I said, well, I'm using.
I like the name though. It's catchy.
So you was asking me, am I gonna do like herbal teas?
Yeah, I was gonna say like, do your teas have like, did you do? Are you doing like the herbal teas or just the sweet tea, or how's your tea line going?
Well, I'm working on it's just the sweet teas now. I
Okay.
have the different types. I have the peachy and the berry lemon. But then we have our county fair this week,
Hmm.
and I'm down at the county fair selling my things on the county fair.
Yeah.
And one lady asked, she said, "Well, do you have something for diabetics?"
Mm.
So I came home, I researched some sweeteners, substitute sweeteners, and I found a sweetener that I love, and it's from the monk. The
Okay.
monks over in Tibet. They'll have a sweetener and that's what I'm using for my sugar-free tea.
That's nice.
So
And
then
see, it's
I'm gonna dip into some herbal teas. Then I'm gonna dip into some hemp teas.
listen, listen. Let me know when you get into the herbal and the hemp, because all those herbal and hemp are good for like people with inflammation and stuff like that in different conditions. So let me know when you start making those.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because I think we need to go back to nature.
Right.
You
First
know
and foremost.
that we need to go back to nature. I mean, we come from a culture that's all we had,
Right.
and we didn't have the elements we have now.
Right.
You know, and I really our great grandparents they lived off the earth. Okay, I mean I remember some of the things my grandmother did.
Mhm.
I look at it's it's so ironic. My grandmother's been deceased since 1983, and my brother lives in her house because it's the
Mhm.
homestead. That's where they always was born and reared.
Born and raised, right.
And it is a mullet. Now, some people know what I'm talking about. Some people probably saying, "What is she talking about?" It is a mullet plant
Mhm.
that has been in that yard since I was a little girl, and probably before that. And do you know that mullet plant still is in that yard?
Is it?
And yes, and what it is. It's a furry leaf.
Mhm.
But I remember my grandma used to go out there and pop those. They're big, they're long leaves, and she would pop those leaves. She would soak them, and she would use them for a tea, and then she'll use them for you to soak it.
Yeah, like I
That's
remember.
natural.
It's natural stuff. Like me, I was brought up in the country too, so I understand all that. Like they used to have the thing called cat foot tea, and literally it's like a bush that looks like a bunch of branches, but you would put it in the pot
Yes.
and you would cook it and you would use it as a tea. Especially when you get sick, you would get that and
Hmm.
you would use that with some honey. And then I remember the thing like for stomach ache, they used to call it camphor. There used to be like this white rock that you would put in water and you shake it up and you leave it and setting in there and you use that for your stomach ache. So I know
Hmm.
all about that old time
That's right.
remedies.
That's right.
You get
And they
burned, you
didn't. I
go
mean, when they was
break the
doing that,
aloe
we
plant.
wasn't sick. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let me tell you. And they used to. We're gonna have to get back to this. I'm serious. We as a culture gonna have to get back to the gardening,
Mm-hmm.
because my grandmother them used to can people. They used to they call it canning, but in the
Mm-hmm.
garden they take the tomatoes. And I never ever known my family to be hungry,
Right.
because in the summer you had the big garden and you
Mm-hmm.
can your beans and your tomatoes and your potatoes and your okra and everything. And then a certain time of year, do the hogs,
Right.
or the cattle, and they would
Mm-hmm.
have that. I mean, they just never went hungry. And
No.
here we are making more money. We have all this technology, and we have people starving.
Right.
But I was back to the aloe. My mother was canning tomatoes, and you say you come from the country because you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They would take the
Mm-hmm.
tomatoes, put in the boiling water, let the skin come off
And
the
come off.
tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little girl, and I'm in the kitchen in the way, and my mother was getting ready to turn around from the stove with that big pot of tomatoes, and I was right there, and it burnt me from here down. You know what
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother did? She
When
went
it
and
popped
got
off
some
that aloe.
aloe vera, split it down the middle, and do you know I don't have a scar to this day?
Mm-hmm. I remember my burns from being in the kitchen, like you said, being in the way. But in the aloe, like I remember getting how quickly we go to the doctor. Like I remember my foot got cut by a razor blade. And I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't went and get no stitches. My mom got a pail. She put some water in it. She got the iodine, put your foot in the iodine, and she wrapped my foot up. And I pretty much not walked on my foot for a couple of weeks and eventually healed up. But I
Thank
never
you.
got stitches.
Thank you. And they used to
Yep.
use spider webs.
Mm-hmm.
They used to put spider webs on cuts. So
Yep.
I mean, it's just, and then you go these places, they say, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that." No, yes, you can. Don't let these people fool you. They want you to buy that medicine
Mm-hmm.
so they can become rich, and then you become sicker. Okay, I do
Right.
believe that. So all this high blood pressure and diabetes, we can get off that stuff if we go back to nature.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So what is
Mm-hmm.
your plan for your lane product line? What do you foresee your future or your vision for it in the next 2 years?
Well, I'm still working on it. So I'm introducing it, trying to
Mhm.
get it out there. Um, by January, I want to have everything in place as far as my website for it, all the legalities to it, to get, just so I can get it in there, because
Right.
my future, what I see, and see, you have to see something.
Mhm.
I see me having my own business. And I'm not saying just business, I'm talking about somebody walking in my business, purchasing my stuff. You know, that's what I see. And I don't see it just here, I see
Right.
it other places. you know. So that's what I'm working towards, because I'm tired of hitting that W-2.
Right.
Okay. If I want to work and I want to be stressed and I want to be tired, I want to do it for me.
Right. Right. Amen to that. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, always anybody can get in touch with me. I'm working on a web page for my candles and my teas and everything. But they can put in Lane, anything with Lane. It's gonna pop up. But yeah, I'm gonna. In fact, I'll let you know when I have all that out.
Okay. Because then I
Okay.
could post it and share it with the community, and if they're
Okay.
reaching out and stuff like that. Because definitely, I know I want some soap and a candle. So
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And as far as my books on all the book platforms, Amazon, Walmart.com, um, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, any book platform, they can find my book on that.
Now,
Or
did you
both books.
collab in any books in the last few years? Did you collab with anybody, or those are the only two books that you have?
Those are the only two I have.
Okay.
Those are the only two I have. Now I am with Jim Light Publishing company. That's who published my books. And they can even go there and get the books because they have a bookstore. It's in fact, Erica we used to work together, and she owns her own publishing company. Uh, and yeah, and she's done a movie. So Sister Girl has got it going on. I'm like, hey, we started off, working together, and she was writing books, and she said, someone said, you have enough books, you need to have your own publishing company, and that's
Right.
what she did, you know. And that's one of those things where don't let nobody tell you what you can't do, you know. We just try to. I think we handicap ourselves sometimes.
Right.
We
Right.
come up
We
with
self.
every excuse why we can't do something,
Yeah,
but
we
we don't
self
never come up with
sabotage.
the. We don't never say why we can do something,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, but um, yeah, I have a lot going on for that for the future. I want
And we watching and waiting to see. We
to. Okay,
in that building and we see Lane Birds and Company, B&B and Company, on that building.
that's coming. It's coming. It's coming, and it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Absolutely. Do you
Yes.
have any last words that you would like to leave the audience?
Well, first, let me say this. I got to do this. I should have done this first. I thank you. I really thank you. I appreciate you having me on. But I couldn't do I wouldn't feel right if I didn't say thank you to my family.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz you know how certain people they just back you up,
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be a big family,
Right.
but with life,
Mm-hmm.
cuz I tell everybody we on this earth for a certain time. So you better make the best of it. But that doesn't mean it's the end. It's another place that we go. See? And so, but while I'm on this earth, I gotta give my props to my family and my son and my publisher
Mm-hmm.
and just the people that have just really stood behind me. And even the ones that haven't stood behind me. Because you know what? They're gonna catch on too.
Right.
But yeah, I want everybody to just watch out for me. I'll have some good stuff for you because whatever I do, believe me, it's gonna be something for your health, your mental conscious. It's gonna be something for you. And if please get your girls these books. I mean, they need these books, especially the teenagers. They need this book. They need it. I mean, I couldn't if I said any more than I said, they probably would have me arrested. But I
Right.
try. But I tried to touch
Mm-hmm.
everything that they're going through. And
Right.
even
Right.
with dating, because like I told the girls in the book, this is your temple.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a temple, that means you are queen over that temple. Everything don't go in your temple. Be choiceful about what you let into your temple.
And that look, listen, that was the key words right there.
See, and once we teach them that, it'll be a
Mm-hmm.
better world.
Right.
It'll be a better world.
Absolutely. When you remind them how they can reach out to you for your soaps, for your books, for networking, speaking engagements, all the above, how can they connect with
Okay.
you?
Okay. Well, you can always connect with me through my email, which is my name, my real name, Yolanda Bradley at gmail.com. You can also go to Facebook. I'm on Facebook. In fact, I have a page, Lane Bird, author Lane Bird. You can connect with me there. I'm on Instagram, Yolanda38, and I'm on Twitter. So I'm on all the platforms. All you gotta do is put in Yolanda Bradley or Yolanda, and I will pop up somewhere. And then I'll have more information once I get everything settled as far as with my candles and my soaps. And then I would add that to those sites. I will put it on my my book site on Facebook, and I also put it on Instagram as well. And the Queen's gonna keep you up on what I'm doing too. So yeah.
Absolutely.
And one thing I always end by saying, I have a motto that I truly believe in. I always say, love yourself. Love yourself first before you can love anybody else. And if you love yourself, then you know how you want somebody else to love you. As my aunt used to say, don't take no wooden nickels. And if you don't know what that means, you can't spin a wooden nickel. It's not
Right.
worth nothing. Okay? Live like tomorrow is never coming. And laugh till it hurts. Because you'll make somebody else smile.
Absolutely. Those are words, and I hope that y'all take these gems. Make sure y'all grab her books, Unique and the Teen Book, that's giving you all the information that your teen girl needs to know. And the boy one is coming. So keep a
Oh, the
lookout.
boy is coming.
The boy one is
The
coming.
boy
So
is
keep a
coming.
lookout. But make sure y'all tune in to author Lane Bird, Yolanda Bradley. Hashtag go get those books. And make sure y'all get those soaps when they come out too. Soaps, candles, lavenders, all the above.
And these are the sauce.
Yes.
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 Get that mentalness going.
Yes. But as always, it's an honor to have you on the Power in Your Voice because, as always, here with the Power in Your Voice, we give you a place to speak empowerment, inspiration, and motivation into people and let them know that, it's nothing but to be the best version of yourself. I have been your host, Sheena Godine, and I thank you for tuning in. And Yolanda, I am honored to have had you on my platform today. It's always amazing to have you hear and dropping those gems because it's a lot of things we can learn from each other. So never feel that you are not teachable. Always remember there's something else that you can learn. I thank
That's
you.
true.
And as always, y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
Not anymore. Yes, I was a broken woman. Yes, I didn't love me. Yes, I decided to settle for what wasn't best for me. Yes, I was in a toxic relationship. Guess what? Not anymore. I have grown from the broken pieces. I have learned to love me when no one else loved me. I have learned that I will never settle for in my life or my peaceful atmosphere. I have learned the difference between love, lust of a good relationship. Yes, I wasn't perfect, but I learned to work on my mind, my body, and my soul connections. Yes, I have allowed the wrong spiritual around me. Now I've learned about the not allowing the negative energy around me. Yes, I've been down the road of destruction. Now I've learned how to not move by emotion, but by the spirit of my faith and purpose. Not anymore, my fears will not keep me from being a better version of me. Not anymore, my toxicness will stop me from loving myself or trusting others in my peaceful place. Not anymore, my lack of post-trauma is going to stop me from my future growth. Yes, not anymore. I know I'm powerful. I know I'm overcoming. I know I'm a positive. I know I'm loved. And yes, not anymore. I'm dope. Dedicated to other people and empowerment. I love my dopeness and so should you.